What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Zoe, and I make both bookish and lifestyle type videos, and I'm so glad that you're here today because today is launch day! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. As you can tell from the title, today is my Patreon launch day, and it is also my January TBR day. Those are the two main things I'm going to be talking about in today's video, and I'm so excited. One, because I honestly love making TBR videos. It's so fun to talk about the books that I want to read in the upcoming month. And then obviously also I'm just so excited to launch my Patreon. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about the Patreon so I can move ahead to the books that I want to read. I do want to give you guys a little bit of an overview of what each of the tiers are if you are interested or considering supporting me on Patreon. If you want to skip ahead, if you don't really care, that's totally fine. I will put a time marker in the description of this video so you can jump ahead to the January TBR section. Totally fine. I don't mind. If you are interested in hearing about my Patreon and you've stuck around, I really appreciate it. I have put a lot of work into this Patreon. I thought hard about what to put into all of the tiers. I thought about the branding and worked really hard on that. And so if you even just want to click and check it out, that would mean so much to me. Like I mentioned in the video before this one, I, as a 2021 goal, decided to start a Patreon, and that is just a website where you can, if you want to, totally optional, support me further in my art. So in making videos, in digital art, in bookish things, that is where you can do all of that. Let me go ahead and break down each of the tiers. Basically, on my Patreon, I am giving you the option of 3 different tiers if you would like to support me more. The first tier is called the Cozy Reader tier. The second tier is called the Kind Reader tier. And the third tier is called the Crowned Reader tier. Hello, this is Editing Zoe from the future, and this is actually one of 2 different times you will be seeing me in this video because apparently I was having quite a day. But I just wanted to pop in really quick and tell you that I made a slight change to the names of the tiers for my Patreon. After talking it over with a couple of friends who were just helping me, giving me feedback with my Patreon, I decided to change the names of the first 2 tiers, to just swap them. The first tier is actually now called the Kind tier, and the second tier is called the Cozy tier, and that's pretty much because I just didn't want people to think that if they didn't do the second tier, at least that they weren't kind. I just didn't want any kind of like negative connotation if someone was looking at this for the first time or wasn't familiar with me or my channel. So that's why it changed. So just going forward in this video, when I talk about the Cozy tier, it's now actually named the Kind tier. And when I talk about the Kind tier, it's actually named the Cozy tier. Hopefully going forward, it will all make perfect sense. Okay, back to filming Zoe. The first one, the Cozy Reader tier, starts at $3 a month, and this tier includes an entry to the Cozy Reader Buddy Read of the Month. So basically, I am going to be giving you guys some options of what book we should all read together as a buddy read, and in this tier, you get entry into reading that buddy read with me, as well as voting on what we read. You'll also have access to Patreon exclusive updates. I'll be sharing more personal things there, like the projects that I'm going to be working on, life updates, different pieces of art that I'm working on, videos, all that good stuff. So that will all be included in the $3 a month Cozy Reader tier. One thing I do quickly want to mention about this little buddy read is that it is going to start in February. I figured that kind of the time frame of me launching this isn't ideal to quickly fit in a book and make people quickly buy a book and then read a book in January when I know that a lot of people already have their reading established for the month. So if you do decide to become a Patreon at all and are interested in the buddy read, we are going to go ahead and pick one and vote for one in January to read in February. So don't worry, it's not like a rushed buddy read for this month, but it will start in February. And then tier number 2 is the kind reader tier that starts at $10 a month, and you get everything included in the cozy reader tier. Plus, you'll have exclusive access to a vlog where I will be reading the buddy pick of the month. I'll be doing my daily vlogging type things, and then I'll also be discussing the book in that vlog. So that's exclusive to the kind reader tier and above only. I'm not going to be posting that on YouTube, on Instagram, nothing. You guys will be the only people that get to see that vlog, which I think is really fun, and I'm so excited to do that. And then in this tier, I am also including a monthly newsletter where I will be compiling a little list of books I recommend reading that month, books I am anticipating, like new releases coming out that month, and anything else top of mind from me, just in a little fun monthly newsletter. And then the third tier is called the crowned reader tier, and that starts at $20 a month, and that includes everything from the cozy and kind reader tiers. Plus, your name will be added into the description of any of my YouTube videos, as well as in the end comments of any of my YouTube videos, giving you credit for just being an amazing supporter and Patreon. I will also be sending any crowned reader Patreons a handwritten thank you letter from me, just showing my appreciation for being such an amazing Patreon and supporter. And then also included in this tier, every single month, I will be creating a digital printable piece of art that will include a quote from the buddy read book that we read the month prior. So I'm really excited for that one too, something kind of fun. I love digital prints. I print out things all the time to add as decor into my house. So I hope that you guys enjoy that as well. And then the last thing included in the crowned reader tier is a 10% discount code that you get to use in my Etsy store. I'm really excited about all of those tiers, honestly. And again, if you can just support me by even just clicking on the page, checking it out, getting excited for it, maybe just a little piece of encouragement in the comments. You do not have to support me financially on Patreon if you are not able to or do not want to. It is completely optional. Again, I am just trying this out, but I'm very excited about all of these tiers. I'm excited to connect with any of my Patreons on a little bit more of like a personal level. I think it's just gonna be so much fun, and I cannot wait, and I'm so excited. Also launching today is my Etsy shop. All of these things are linked down below, by the way. I should have said that at the beginning. But yes, my Etsy store is open. There are only a couple of items listed there right now. I want to have a ton more, honestly, but making things is hard and time consuming. Trust me, I am still working on lots of things, but I do have a couple things in the shop right now. If you want to go check them out, again, even just clicking on it, checking it out, that's huge encouragement and support to me, so thank you so much. I am hoping to make just really fun and cute kind of boho home decor pieces that you can have in your house, whether it's embroidery or cute little garlands, macrame pieces. I'm working on all of those things, so definitely stay tuned there. I am not accepting commissions right now. I unfortunately just don't have the time to work on commission pieces, but that is something that I would love to consider in the future. If my time gets freed up in any way, I definitely would love to do that. If you are interested in commissions in the future, please do let me know. If there's a lot of interest, maybe I can consider working them in, but for right now, I just can't spend my time on specific commissioned pieces, but I may open that up in the future. Okay, well, with all that said, I'm so excited. Thank you guys so much already just for the support that you have shown me, and for any view, any like, any comment, any time that you've DM'd me on Instagram and just encouraged me. Honestly, you guys make me feel like making art is so worthwhile, and it's been such a fun and encouraging and amazing ride so far, and I just really hope that this is one more way that I can get to continue creating things that I love making and connecting with you guys on this level. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Here goes nothing. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into the books that I want to read in January. I'm so excited. I have a handful of books that I am just stoked to read, basically. A lot of mystery thrillers that have been sitting on my shelf that I have just been dying to get to. So let's go ahead and jump in. The first book that I definitely have to read in January is The Midnight Library. This is by Matt Haig, and this, honestly, I've heard nothing but really great things. I think this also won the Goodreads Choice Awards for like the best fiction book of 2020. I don't know a lot about Matt Haig. I think I read actually his middle grade A Boy Called Christmas book, and that's all I've read by him. I liked it. I didn't love it, so I'm intrigued to see how a more like mature audience, what kind of book he'll write for us. But I mean, like I said, I've heard nothing but really, really good reviews. The first line in the synopsis says, "Between life and death, there is a library." And honestly, that's just like, I love that. I love that quote so much. I kind of want it, like, I could see someone getting that as like a tattoo. That is just the coolest quote. So this book follows our main character, Nora, whose life is honestly just kind of full of regrets. It sounds like a lot of people in her life have let her down, and she finds herself in the Midnight Library, which contains books that allows her to reflect or possibly change the things that have happened in her life up until this point, which sounds so fascinating. Kind of reminds me of like The Butterfly Effect, if you've seen that movie, where you could go back in time and change things, but then it would alter how things turn out in the end. So I'm really intrigued. I hope that this is written really well. Honestly, I feel like I could love this book, and I'm very excited to read it for our book club. Did I even mention that? This is what we're reading for our book club. Oops. So we are going to be reading this for our Three Blondes and a Book club, and we'll be having a live show discussion at the end of the month. Yeah, very excited to read this one. I think it has the possibility to be a really, really great book. The next book that I want to read, I literally, just before I started this video, walked out to my front porch and grabbed it. I just ordered it. I saw it on Instagram briefly and had to look it up because the cover intrigued me. And apparently Gabby from Gabby Reads, she really liked it and read it, and I love her recommendations when it comes to thrillers. It's called The Nesting, which is by C.J. Cook, and the little blurb says, "Mother Nature always protects herself by whatever means necessary." It's also blurbed by Simone St. James, whom I love. She wrote The Sundown Motel, which was one of my faves of 2020. It says, "A taut, scary thriller. This one will definitely keep you up at night," and that's what I'm hoping for, honestly. This book, when I read the description, it gives me very, very much so Turn of the Key and Haunting of Hill House type vibes. So I'm so excited. Basically, it takes place in Norway, and it's about a father who built this environmentally friendly home in Norway, and he lost his wife to suicide in that house. Him and his two daughters, I believe, live there, and he hired a nanny to come and like look over his two girls while he's working. So I think we're following the nanny in this book, which gives me very like Turn of the Key vibes. She really loves these two girls that she has been watching over, but she starts to see things and hear things, and things are starting to go bump in the night, basically. And so she's thinking that maybe a suicide didn't actually happen, but something more sinister. I'm just like so excited. It sounds crazy good. I cannot wait to read this one. The next book that I'm actually reading currently, so I figured I would just add it in here. I'll put a little picture of it right here because I don't quite have my hands on it yet, but it is Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam, and it is essentially a book that follows a husband and a wife and their two kids. They're going on vacation to an Airbnb house, and a couple days into their vacation, late at night, they hear a knock on the door. Two people at the door are claiming to be the people who own that Airbnb, and there's something up. Basically, there's like a storm rolling in. They can't make it to their destination, so they thought the safest place to stop would be at their own house that they own while these people are vacationing there. But there's a lot of red flags happening, and because there's a storm currently taking place, there's no internet, and they're out, of course, in a remote destination. So they can't call to check and see if these people are who they actually say they are. So it's definitely like a very tense type of thriller. I think I'm about halfway, and I really, really like it so far. It's very intriguing. The couple that is staying there is a white couple, and then the couple that owns the home or says they own the home is a black couple. So it's also a commentary on like racial profiling and racism and all of that stuff. So it's written really, really well. It's really smartly written, and it's just creating like all this tension because you're really, at least me, I'm really not sure if the couple is who they actually say they are, which is just like creating all this tension. It's so good. I'm really, really liking it. So that's definitely the first one I'll be finishing in the month of January. Hello, it's me again, editing Zoe. So I wanted to pop in here really fast because I have since read a bit more of this book, and I realized that I gave about half of the synopsis, but it's also because I only apparently read half of the synopsis of this book and was very much under the impression that it was one thing when it's kind of a whole different thing. I'm still loving it, but I just wanted to add that it's not so much a thriller in the sense of they are trying to figure out who these people are, if they own the house or if not. As the story progresses, it actually is kind of going through a bit of like a possible, what feels like apocalyptic story. So there's things happening in the world that they are not able to become aware of because they don't have any internet access, their phones aren't working, all of that stuff. So basically it's this couple and their children in this vacation home, and then it's them then letting in the owners of the home and all of those people going through this kind of like apocalypse together, or like they don't know what's going on. I don't really know what's going on. I don't really want to read too much more because it's very interesting. It's written so well. I think I already said that, but I just wanted to add that in there, that I may have given the impression that it was solely one kind of story, and it's definitely going in a different direction that I didn't expect, but it's really good. I just didn't want you to go into it thinking it was one thing when actually it's very much a different thing, which is what I did. So don't do that. Okay, back to regular me. Last time you'll see me. Okay, bye. Another book that I want to read in January is actually possibly a surprising choice. That is Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angels. And this book came out a while ago. This was an advanced reader's copy. It came out back in June of 2020, and I have not read it yet. I'm really bad at reading my ARCs that I receive. Sorry. It's a huge, like 500 some page fantasy type of book. It says on the back that it's like Moulin Rouge meets Phantom of the Opera. The reason that I'm reading this is because I am participating in Books and Lala, her buzzword readathon that spans the whole year. So essentially what I have decided to do is read one book that coincides with her buzzword of the month each month. And I'm going to vlog it a little bit, and then at the end of the year, I'm going to compile each of the month's small vlog where I read the book that coincides with that month's word. I hope that makes sense. So I do want to read this. It's going to be quite an effort because 500 page like fantasy books are not my first choice, but I also don't want to buy any books if I can help it. So because this word has the word dream in it, which is the buzzword of the month for January, this is the one that I'm going with. So hopefully I like it. I hope that I'm surprised and enjoy it. It does look kind of cool. I mean, I wouldn't have accepted it if I wasn't somewhat interested in it, but we'll see. Let me know if you've read this one and you like it. Encourage me to read it. The next book that I really want to read is Miracle Creek. This is by Angie Kim, and I have had my hands on this for over a year now. I received it for Christmas 2019, and I have wanted to read it since the day I've gotten it. It's just one of those ones that I haven't picked up. I just kept putting off, but one of my goals for 2021 is to read more literary adult type of fiction. I tend to really love these types of books, and I think that this one will be no different. This is like a literary courtroom drama too, which I love. True crime. I love like courtroom dramas, so I think I'm really gonna like this one. At least that's my hope. It is about an immigrant family and a young mother who is accused of killing her autistic son. So it's definitely a dark thriller type of book. It's also her debut novel, and it just talks about how far you'll go to protect your family, the ones that you love. I honestly, like I keep saying, I think I'm really gonna like it, so I'm very excited. No more putting this one off. I really want to read it. I just realized I've been like cutting off the books as I'm showing them to you guys in the camera, so sorry about that. The next book that I really want to read is We Went to the Woods. This is by Kate Dolan Leach, and I realized that a lot of these books are pretty hefty, so I'm hoping I can get to this one. I actually hauled this a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, in a vlog, and I was so excited about it because it's actually compared to The Immortalist and The Secret History. I've never read The Secret History, but I know it's really, really well loved. The Immortalist is my favorite book of all time, so I've never seen another book compared to The Immortalist, so I picked this up so fast. It's actually kind of like a dark academia type of book, but set in an economic and environmental collapse. It says 5 disillusioned 20-somethings make a bold decision. They gather in upstate New York to transform an abandoned farm, once the site of a turn-of-the-century socialist commune, into an idyllic, self-sustaining compound called the Homestead. So I'm very intrigued. I hope that there's a lot of cool character building that happens. I have no idea what to expect, but I am very, very excited for this book. Okay, I have 2 more books that I want to talk about, and I am already getting nervous to complete all of these books in January, but who knows, hopefully it'll happen. Another book I really want to get to is Happy and You Know It by Laura Hankin. I got this book months ago from Book of the Month, and it sounds so good, and I don't know why I've been putting it off. Again, I think it's another one of those like adult, little bit more like kind of like a mystery thriller, but I feel like it might be a little bit satire-ish too. Basically, it's about this like struggling musician. She lives in New York and she ends up being a performer for an elite moms group who has kids and they have like a play date. So she's like playing music for their children, but she also gets, I think, intertwined into some of like these mothers, like their drama and what's going on, and it just sounds so like such a guilty pleasure, so good. So I am very excited to read this. My friend Cassie read this, I believe, and she really, really liked it. So I'm excited to see what I think about this one. And then the other book that I want to read is called Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. I have never read a Lisa Jewell book, and I know she writes thrillers. I do know that a handful of people really do like her thrillers, and I don't know, I have been in the mood for tons of thrillers lately. I've just been like inhaling all of the thrillers, and I feel like this one could be a fun one to get through. I'm hoping. We will see. But yeah, it's called Then She Was Gone, and I believe it's about a daughter who goes missing. She goes missing when she's 15, and then years later, I believe that like the mom meets someone who has a daughter who looks exactly like her daughter who went missing 15 years prior. And it's very odd. She thinks that maybe this is her daughter. So sounds really intriguing. Sounds like exactly what I want to read right now. So I'm very excited about this one as well. All right. Well, here are all of the books that I want to read in January. Wish me luck. I feel like I'm coming out of a really, really big reading slump. So I'm actually very excited to read all of these. I also have a goal to read more before bed, like an hour before bed every night. So I feel like when I start getting these good habits going, read a little bit more, I'm excited for January. I'm excited for reading books that I just am in the mood to read. It's gonna be so much fun. Well, if you have made it this far in the video, thank you so, so much for watching. Let me know what you're reading in January. I would love to know, what book are you most excited for? I always get really good recommendations from you guys. Also, thank you so much if you are supporting or considering supporting me on Patreon or in Etsy, or just a supportive comment, a kind comment would mean the world to me. Thank you so much. You guys are the absolute best, and I feel blessed every day to have just this small little piece of the internet. It means the world to me. All right, you guys. Well, I love you so, so, so much, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.